right, we are back live. This is your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour. Chris Guzman, Nestor Garza-Romero, Emil Sotopovinsky, Kegabine, Timmy the producer Patterson. I've got on the phone right now former world champion Paulie the Magic Man Malignaggi. Paulie, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm good, man. Just out here in Brooklyn at a fundraiser for Artie Curry from HBO. The man that passed away. I was doing a little fundraiser out here.
Awesome.
Good, man.
That's good of you to give your time and your face for a little camera time there.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Awesome.
We got a couple of old-time ball players here. We got Tommy John that's out good here, so.
Awesome. Well, we're based out of Chicagoland, and it was just announced the other day that your rematch with Juan Diaz is going to be right here in Chicago. How do you feel about the fight? How do you feel about it coming down in Chicago and not in Brooklyn?
Obviously, the whole town is a bit nice. We tried to push the East Coast, obviously. I did have to go to Juan's own time around, but you know what? I think Chicago was a good backup plan. I think I wouldn't have had to push to Vegas. I hear a lot about my fans in Chicago. I'm glad I'm getting them an opportunity to come see you live. And I look forward to the challenge, man. I look forward to it because I hear there's a lot of Mexican population in Chicago also. So it could be a great fight and challenge.
Well, you've got a lot of fans in Chicago.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. I'm really excited about the potential turnout for the fight. I hear a lot of great things about Chicago. I fought there a long time ago in the amateurs. Obviously, I was just a kid. But I'm excited about the whole situation.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what I've noticed about the Chicago judges is they like the punch count, so that should work pretty well in your favor. Did that play into the factor of it being there for you?
Sorry, I didn't hear you good. Chicago like what?
The Chicago judges, they like the punch count. They kind of count the punches, and a lot of times that's how they award the rounds. Is that one of the reasons?
Hey, that's all good for me, man. I plan on Diaz a lot more one-sided this time around. They don't have as many advantages as the first time around. Obviously, the first one being they're not in Texas. The second one being that I got a half a pound back. We'll find out 139 pounds. And the third one being that we have a 20 by 20 foot ring. So that's
there we go.
That's not too bad. It's not a huge ring, obviously, but 20 by 20 feet is all I need. I just need your average 20-foot ring, and I'll wipe the floor with this guy, And so, forward to it, man. I look forward to it. And so the judges can prefer whatever they want to prefer. This fight will not. Well, this fight will be a mismatch. I feel sharper than I did already for the first fight. I feel already sharper right now than I did ever at any point during the camp for the first fight. Me and my new trainer, Sharif Yunan, we've been working on getting better and better throughout this year. And I believe he's the right trainer for me. I'm the right fighter for him. And we're going to keep moving on and moving forward. We're going to take Diaz out of the picture once and for all and then move on to bigger and better.
Well, hey, let's let you go. I know you're in a busy spot and everything, and you took the time out of your busy evening to give us a couple minutes. I just wanted to let our listeners hear from the Magic Man himself.
No problem, man. I'm glad you guys had me on. I look forward to coming to Chicago. Everybody be ready for the press conference today. Out in Chi-Town. I'm not sure where it is, so we'll have to put on that. But I won't lose it for the press conference. And then I look forward to the fight on December.
Awesome. We'll be at the press conference. We'll see you there, Paulie.
For sure, brother.
All righty. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that is Paulie Malignaggi. He does not seem to be in the least bit scared.
He seems like he's ready for this fight. That's for sure. He's scared.
I mean, he came into his first fight scared because he was, and not because of anything Juan Diaz can do. He was scared because of the judging. That weight has totally lifted from his shoulders.
Well, the judging, the ring,
the ring's bigger, which means he can move, which is his MO anyway. Punch count is going to be counted because that's the Chicago way. Power punching, sometimes to a fault. Chicago judges don't necessarily always give credit where credit is due with power shots, which might play, just as Emil said eloquently a little bit ago, that might play right into his favor. Juan Diaz doesn't punch hard. Paulie Malignaggi doesn't punch hard. No. So if you take the power shots out of the equation, which you're not going to get a whole lot of anyway with these two fighters, all you have left is punch count.
Right.
And when I feel personally that Juan Diaz didn't win that fight on points, then it seems to be some home cooking. When you're taking all those factors into consideration.
I've actually had judges tell me that's exactly how they score around. They said that's the only way I can judge one fairly is to count how many punches the guy lands.
Well, what you had in the last fight, every time Juan Diaz threw a punch, whether it landed or not, You heard the ooh,
Yeah.
and a lot of the judges, they'll take that into account.
And
You know,
even if it
because
didn't land,
yeah,
if
whether-
it just looked from one side of the ring.
Exactly, because that unfortunately we are human, just like the judges are, and that's what they see. You know, that's what they hear, and it's like, oh my God, it must have landed good because I can't see it from here, and it really didn't.
Just getting you're in Houston. You're in the kid's backyard. And I'm not taking a thing from Juan Diaz. Juan Diaz is
No.
a hell of a fighter.
Oh yeah.
And at the end of the day, he's our friend. He's done nothing wrong.
No, this has nothing to do with Juan.
And
This
he
has
actually battled out a pretty good cut when he fought Paulie as well.
This has absolutely nothing to do with Juan Diaz. This has to do with what most of your fight fans and us included saw. We saw some lousy judging. It was that simple. I mean, it was
just way off key. I mean, you had one judge that was just way in left.
Yeah,
field,
one-
and that's
one-
the stuff that just has to stop.
one judge gave Juan Diaz like
All
8
but
or 9
two,
rounds
yeah, all
or
but
something.
2 rounds, I think.
Yeah, and it was ridiculous because there was no way. You know, I can understand it. You know what? I would have taken a draw.
A draw I'd have been happier with than
Exactly.
giving Juan the win.
You know, because and again, this
Or
has
even if
nothing
he would
to
have
do
won
with
on
Juan.
Listen,
on
I
a
would
slim
even-
margin,
I
not
would've
by
been
a
okay with
blowout.
Juan.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, no! The guy did not win 8 or 9 rounds
Right.
more than what Paulie did.
That's sickening.
Yes.
Sammy, what do you got, man?
No, you just can't have it. I could have been either way. It could have went either guy, but you can't have one guy winning by 8 rounds in a fight that was that close. I mean, there's just no way you can sit
Yeah,
there and look
and-
at that fight.
and-
I mean,
and-
you could try everything to give rounds to Juan and still not give him that many rounds.
And the only person sitting at this table that has ever been an actual professional judge would be Chris.
So you can't take his opinion into account.
No, my opinion should have nothing to do with this.
But we've all watched enough boxing in our lives that we know who would win or lose a round. I mean, good God! I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to judge a boxing match.
The best is when one fighter is cut and the other one is not, but the one that's cut is the one that won.
It's the one that won the round.
Larry Merchant says, all I need to do is bring an 8-year-old in.
Yeah.
Say, look at these two guys.
Who
Who
won?
won that fight?
That's exactly right. I mean, you know,
Larry Merchant will make any idiot understand his point very quickly.
I got a 7-year-old
Unless he
grandson.
talks about the Tin Man and the sketch. And of course, we don't know what he's saying. But
I got a 7-year-old grandson that could tell you who won the fight.
Exactly.
I mean, you got one guy that's completely bloody and the other one that doesn't have a scratch on him. Who won this one?
one guy looks like the jaws of life pulled him out of the car.
I don't know, Papa. I think this one did. You know, come on.
Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back, and we'll talk about some bare knuckle boxing Hall of Fame. What do you think, Timmy?
There we go.
Awesome. We'll be right back at you. This is your Bolo Punch.
Rogie Insurance is a 4-generation insurance family serving Indiana families for over 80 years.